Captain Alex Badeh Jr. is the Director General of the Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau, and we're taking a look at transportation safety in Nigeria. Thank you for staying the course on the program. Let's take a look at some of the latest data coming from your bureau. These figures, I believe, are from January 2023 to January this year. We're looking at 20 accidents in total in the period under review, with a casualty figure of 299 out of 889 passengers. That's about 34%. We're looking at both incidents dashboard of the NSIB on the screen as we speak. Another interesting data is that 97% of the casualties were recorded on wooden boats as against 2% on fiber boats. And the leading cause of accident, we are told, according to this document, that contributed to these casualties from this report is overloading and non-use of life jacket, followed by other factors as seen on the screen. Captain Badeh, wooden boats seem to be the culprit here. There are also issues with licenses, as most casualties are recorded from unknown boats. Is it that fiber boats are safer, or safety practices just poor on wooden boats?
Well, it's just, for lack of a better word, non-uniform regulation. It's not necessarily that fiber might be safer. Wooden boats can be inherently safe as well. The issue here is we have so many unregulated jetties and loading points in Nigeria. You know, it's a big country. Apparently, we have over 30,000 kilometers of waterways, inland waterways in Nigeria. And the vast majority of these waterways are unregulated or not properly regulated. And as such, you have a higher incidence of these accidents there. And I must add that this data is just a snippet. It's actually a larger number out there. It's just some of these accidents happen in remote areas with little or no communication. Or by the time the information gets out, it's 5 days later, a week later. So this is just a fraction of the real accident and incident rates on our waterways in Nigeria.
I'm sure you've seen quite a number of videos out there of wooden boats ferrying buses and cars. It's everywhere on the internet. I'm wondering how you intend to challenge the status quo and ensure a level of compliance with relevant safety standards and regulations for inland waterway transportation.
Well, this goes back to what we spoke about earlier, which is cooperation, interagency cooperation. That's the first step in doing this. The agencies need to work hand in hand together to reduce this. We will make more safety recommendations, and we're working on something at this time to try to see if we can purchase vests while we go to sensitize out there and distribute to these people out there so they use more vests as they get on these boats. As for the transportation, cars on these wooden boats, it's inherently unsafe. And again, more regulation out there is needed. Just more and more regulation out there is needed to reduce the accident and incident rates in most of our waterways out there. Lagos blazes the trail in this. They're well regulated out there. Their waterways are well regulated. You have ferries. Everyone there, mostly everyone wears life jackets out there, and they transport cars across their waterways there safely each year.
There's also the issue of low licensing rate. You talked about, wearing safety gadgets and what have you. It's one thing for the Bureau to make recommendations. Are you concerned about the implementation of this recommendation? I mean, someone has to take responsibility for it, right?
Yes. Oh, yes. I'm sure. I'm definitely concerned. As we just started, we'll see how the interfacing goes this year with the agencies. And once we make our safety recommendations, hopefully at the end of the year, we'll regroup and see, the compliance rate to this. And of course, the regulators' forceful regulation of these safety recommendations that we put out there.
So the NSIB, which you head, is charged with the responsibility to investigate any transportation accident and serious incidents. Is the scope within the reach of road accident as well?
Yes, sir. As our act says, it says any accidents by tracked vehicle, road, rail, maritime, or air. So our ambit covers all transportation modes in Nigeria.
So how come we haven't heard much about that? You know, there's a lot about how the black box model, for instance, is now, you know, a go-to even in other industries. They say that's why it's perhaps safest to fly. But with road accidents, we haven't had much of research and recommendation going into it. Do you agree?
Yeah, unfortunately, the NSIB is hamstrung by funding. We're working on that, and our Honorable Minister has been on that as well. We're working on funding, of course, with even international agencies as well. We've spoken to the Japanese International Cooperation Agency as well, with particular regards to road accidents and maritime. So we'll see how that goes as we move forward. But the reason why you haven't heard a lot of us on road transport is just it's funding and manpower, which we're working on at this time.
All right, let's talk about what you're doing differently. Because I remember when you came to office, you mentioned that your vision is to build an agency that is defined by transformative advancement that inspires transport safety and not by the tragedies it investigates. By that, you mean that NSIB, under your watch, will not simply react to these accidents, but proactively prevent them from occurring. Walk us through the specific steps that are being taken in this regard.
Of course, we are definitely, as you said, we're moving more towards a proactive rather than a reactive model for the NSIB. And first thing I would say, you know, regulatory changes should not come at the expense of human lives, which is what we're doing, which is why we're trying to interface with these regulators and talk to them more, just to see how we can prevent these accidents and take our lessons from current accidents. Also, on the NSIB side, we're pioneering a new accident reporting agency. It's called ARGU. That's an acronym for Advanced Report Generating Utility Engine. It's actually multimodal. It's the first in its world, being developed here in Nigeria by Nigerian developers. And we just launched the air phase actually today, and that's what we're using for the Dana crash. It's going to speed up accident investigation and reports and keeps everyone in the loop. You know, it's in the past where, you know, you had a team and they were working in a silo. Now this keeps it open to everybody, and we work, or everybody involved in that accident, and you can go, it's a one-stop shop online, and you go in there and you can see what everybody else is doing with this. And we plan on opening this up to maritime after we develop our regulations for maritime accident investigation and prevention. Right now we're using borrowed regulations, but we're developing ours for maritime. And we're going to chip at this one at a time. Once we're done with the maritime, then we would move to the rail and the road as well. I must also add that you mentioned something about the black boxes. Cars actually do have black boxes now. Most modern cars have a memory chip in there that records acceleration, braking, G-force, and a lot of other things, a host of things in there with all those sensors. And there's equipment now with which you can download this data from accidented cars. So working towards acquiring said tools once we interface with road safety, and hopefully we'll take our Nigerian road safety as well to the next level.
The Bureau recently signed an MOU with African Aviation and Aerospace University. Are you also training personnel, and how does that fit into the purview of the agency?
Well, our MOU with the African Aerospace University was actually for facility sharing. They share our facility at our training school here in Abuja. But as they're an aviation university, they do help. We've helped develop some of the curriculum with our native knowledge, and they are open to collaborating with us. But we do have multiple MOUs. We signed an MOU with the University of Lagos in 2018 to help set up our metallurgical lab, which is another material science lab for testing metals. That MOU is ongoing, and we're actually renewing and expanding the scope here in the coming months. We have MOUs with the Nigerian Air Force and the Nigerian Navy as well. In the past, the Navy was just to cover maritime, air accidents in the Navy, but we're looking to expand the scope into maritime accidents as well. We're also looking to establish MOUs with NIMASA and NIWA. We also have an MOU with NEMA as well, the Emergency Management Agency, which we're working on, and it should be signed here in the next 30 days or so. So we're working on a lot of MOUs. And I must add as well, we're working on one with the Nigerian Railway Corporation as well. That's in its process. And hopefully, I believe by the end of this year, we would have a host of MOUs, and there will be more interagency cooperation, and everything should be streamlined. And we should see a marked improvement in Nigerian aviation safety, Nigerian transport safety standards. Sorry, I went back to aviation. This is my background.
Well,
but yeah, we do aim to see a marked improvement here, latest by the end of the year.
We have to go now, but I remember that the DG of the AIB, the defunct AIB, also had issues, complained bitterly about funding. How optimistic are you that this is not going to handicap the Bureau as it's currently constituted?
I'm totally optimistic. We have to think outside the box. And I must add that hopefully I'll use my youthfulness, to push boundaries. I think every wall is meant to be broken. So whatever those issues are, I'm hoping I have the strength and with my team behind me and the support of the minister and the federal government, we should surpass all these financial issues in the coming year.
Director General, Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau, Captain Alex Badeh Jr., thank you for talking to us on the program this evening.
Thank you very much, Nifemi.
And that's our show today. You can watch it again at midnight and at 6 a.m. tomorrow. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. Bye for now.